Hi, this is Bruce Bishop from ChronicleT.com, back here today for one of our football shows. It's been a long time. Would you guys go and introduce yourself because we have a new little wrinkle this year?
We do. We figured most years, the previous years, we've gone with just me sitting here before the camera. Well, I have my co-host from the WEOL Forecast Show, Matt Douglas, sitting with me. And, of course, I'm Tim Alcorn. So it's great to be together with Matt. Every Friday night at 5 o'clock, we'll have the Forecast Show on WEOL. So I thought, hey, if we can do a 90-minute preview show each and every Friday night, we can certainly somehow survive Bruce Bishop and a 8 to 10 minute video for WEOL and the Chronicle Telegram.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I watched these last year. You guys obviously had a blast doing what you guys were doing, so I'm happy to be a part of it. I've snuck in a couple of times on some of those other videos, but I guess now I'm a regular on the show, right?
You're a regular. You know, you may have to shave once in a while to do this show.
It's a good point. I probably should have hit the razor a little earlier, but I'm glad you bring that up now, working on the video side of things.
Faces for radio right
Exactly.
here. There's no doubt about that. And again, before Bruce Bishop starts firing the topics and the questions at us, great big thank you to Lorain County Community College for once again sponsoring our weekly videos. They've done this the past few years. Steve Sefcek and everybody at Lorain County Community College, we appreciate that. And an embedded sponsor segment during the video this year, Orthopedic Associates. We'll talk a little bit later about this, but they've got a special segment within these weekly videos that'll be sponsored. So a great big thank you to LCC and Orthopedic Associates.
Yeah, looking forward to that. There's nothing like those big plays in the game of football, so I'm looking forward to picking a few of those out here as the season goes on.
All right, Bruce, I know you'll love it, so here we go. Fire away.
Time to get to work. This is the original video. It's my favorite one that we do. And so what we're going to do is we'll start with, the real truth here. We start to pick Matt because he's a pretty face. You know how that is.
Okay.
Sure.
So, right.
Maybe
we'll
the
go with
first
that.
time I've ever been referred to in that sense.
Exactly.
And the last.
Yeah.
Let's talk about powerhouse teams this year. Who are we going to be looking at? And, Matt, you get to go first.
Well, I think the obvious one in Lorain County is going to be Avon. I mean, their state semifinals last year, they came up just a bit short against Akron-Hoban. They're a team that looks like they could be the favorite to win the SWC again this year. Lost a few players, but they returned quite a few, including their quarterback, Ryan Malloy, who's a tremendous athlete. And we've heard Coach Elder speak his praises quite a bit. So I think look for Avon. They'll always be one of those strong teams. Columbia coming back this year, I think in the Patriot Athletic Conference, they're going to be a force to reckon with Brandon Coleman returning to the lineup after an injury last year. So I think those are two of probably the tops. Amherst in the SWC, I think, is a team you're going to want to watch for as well. Just with the success they had last year, they're building. I know Coach Passarello's spoken about his team and their ability to play in big games last year. They're learning that they can win some of those big games now. They'll have to prove it when they hit the football field. But I think those are a few of the teams that could really be powers in Lorain County.
And I'll jump in, talk a little bit about Lorain High. This is now a football program at Lorain High. They don't roller coaster. They've been to postseason football 3 of the last 4 years. A great coach in Coach McFarland. They've got some outstanding talent coming back. A playoff team last year. Lorain High is certainly a team that's going to be reckoned with as far as powerhouse teams are concerned this year. So, yeah, Matt, you rattled through a lot of them. We're looking forward to some outstanding clubs this year. So, hey, let's kick this thing off and get it going.
Okay, so I like the idea of the roller coaster. So let's talk about maybe a team that maybe wasn't at the top of that hill last year. Is there a sneak team out there, or somebody that we're maybe not thinking about in that first list of names?
Great question. I'll kind of start here. You mentioned Columbia. Sure. This was a team that was a perennial playoff team. Last year they dipped to 5-5. Now, great player, one of the phenomenal players in Lorain County. Brandon Coleman got hurt last year, and it really kind of derailed them. I'll look for Columbia to make a bounce-back year this year and put together perhaps another playoff year. You also mentioned Amherst. I know when we did our preview show, we talked to Coach Passarello about looking at teams that were 5-5, 6-4, right on the cusp of perhaps postseason football. I think Amherst is one of those teams. Keep an eye on the Amherst Comets. And I know, Matt, you really like Oberlin. You like the job that Mike Akers has done over there.
Yeah, last year they had their struggles beginning of the season, taking on a very heavy front-loaded schedule, and then all of a sudden turned things around. They finished in second place in the Stripes division, just ahead of Columbia, behind Clearview. So it speaks a lot of what Mike Akers was able to do with that team last year. But I do think that's a team to watch in the Stripes division. He's got a year under his belt. Not only that, the players have gone through coach after coach kind of quickly over there. And they realize Mike Akers, he says he's there to stay. It appears he is. He's back for his second year as the head man there. I think they've got something to play for over at Oberlin.
And one more team I'll throw in real quick. It's hard to say, Bruce, it'll be a bounce-back year because they were 8-2 last year, but Firelands went 8-2. Their only 2 losses were to Buckeye and Black River, who made the playoffs. So we'll see if Firelands can beat one of those big teams and get to a postseason berth this year. So I won't exactly say a bounce-back year, but, man, you'd love to see Firelands get over the hump and get to the postseason under head coach Ryan O'Rourke.
What is it about that Firelands team? You seem like you have kind of a soft spot for them.
Well, I live in the district. But no, I mean, they brought in Ryan O'Rourke, who kind of has picked up where Mike Passarello, who's now at Amherst, left off. Mike had built that program into a quality football program, and Mike obviously got Firelands to the playoffs a couple of years while he was there. So Ryan O'Rourke comes in, he changes things up a little bit, Ryan being a former quarterback at Avon and at Baldwin Wallace. So he's going to throw the football. I mean, he's a QB, so he opened up the offense a little bit. And again, they were 8-2. They were playing great football last year. Lost to Buckeye, lost to Black River by, I think, a combined 7 or 8 points.
Yeah,
2
it was real
close
close
games. So I don't know if it's a soft spot, Bruce, but I just kind of like that program. It's a throwback community as far as supporting their team. So, yeah, we'll see if Firelands can get over the hump.
No, yeah, I think that's a really interesting team as well. Just to add to what Bruce was saying there is because under Passarello, they were such a run-happy team. And you mentioned under Coach O'Rourke, they like to air the ball out. You don't see teams with the same players kind of change that drastically and continue to have the success that they've had. And they've continued to have it under Coach O'Rourke.
Good stuff. Okay. So one thing that we like to do here is, well, I guess we were forced into it, is we like to talk about certain players pretty much every week. There's the one name that we love so much, who is
Kennedy Scaglioso. We get to talk about that young man for the next 10 weeks. We love that name. And the Amherst Comets love that young man running the football. You talk about Coach Passarello and his passion for running the football. Kennedy Scaglioso for Amherst, he got it a lot last year. He's going to get it a lot this year under head coach Mike Passarello. Not only a great football name, but an outstanding player. He's going to be one of the top players in Lorain County this year. Knock on wood if he stays healthy. But I'll tell you what, there's a bevy of players this year that could really open some eyes as far as Lorain County talent is concerned.
Oh, without a doubt. I think, too, let's give some credit to maybe a guy who's a little under the radar, but Connor Riggs over at Avon Lake.
1,000-yard rusher last year.
Well, that's what I was just getting at. And Avon Lake had a successful season. Perhaps we slighted them a bit, not bringing them up in some of the top teams in the area. They certainly are. I mean, every coach we talked to last season talked about how Matt Kostelnik had that team in playoff capabilities. They came up just a bit short last season, but they were as close to a playoff team as you're going to meet in the regular season. So I think Connor Riggs is one of those guys to keep an eye on. I think he's an up-and-comer. He could surprise people with the season that he has. Again, tough to surprise someone when you have 1,000 yards rushing the year before, but he's kind of under the radar because of Brandon Coleman over at Columbia, Kennedy Scaglioso, as you mentioned, over at Amherst, and some of the other young men out there.
And as far as quarterbacks are concerned, you talk about great players. Generally, you talk about the offensive side, which is really unfortunate because there's great defensive players too, but it's the offensive guys that get the headlines and get all the talk. You can't forget about Ryan Malloy, the quarterback over at Avon. I mean, he led that offense to just unbelievable numbers last year. He comes back, Thursday night debut for Avon this year, and they're led by Ryan Malloy, who's just an outstanding talented QB.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun to see what he can do over there at Avon.
Okay, time for shameless promotion. Where are we going this week?
Well, for WEOL, we are off and running. Thursday night, I mentioned Avon opens up their year on a Thursday night. We'll have that game as they take on Akron Buchtel over at Avon. So I'll be there along with Rob Clarico and Craig Couch. And then Friday night, boy, that 3-game schedule that we've had the past few years, the radio game, very, very special night in the city of Elyria and for the Elyria community as far as the school is concerned. The brand new stadium, Elyria High, will be hosting Avon Lake. Connor Riggs comes to town, so we'll have Elyria and Avon Lake as our radio game. Kennedy Scaglioso and the Amherst Comets taking on Clearview. We neglected to mention Clearview, a 9-1 football team last year that went to the playoffs. So it'll be Clearview entertaining Amherst. That'll be our Stream 2 game as far as the mobile app and WEOL.com is concerned. And then our Medina County matchup, Highland and Brunswick. We'd love to cover those kids down in Medina County.
Yeah, without a doubt. That should be a good one. I mean, Highland brings it every single year. Brunswick's on the up and up, so we'll see what happens there.
Okay, guys. Well, hey, we're real close to wrapping it up, so let's talk about one last thing. There's one new thing, as you mentioned, with special project we have this year. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, again, a great big thank you goes out to our friends at Orthopedic Associates. Now, we don't really have it for this week because we haven't played any games yet, but starting next week, every week during this weekly video, we're going to have our Orthopedic Associates plays of the week. So Matt Douglas and I, we're going to pour over those box scores and pour over the game recaps in the Chronicle Telegram, and I'll pick out an Orthopedic Associates play of the week, and Matt will pick out an Orthopedic Associates play of the week. Just one huge play, could be offense, could be defense, could be special teams, but a couple of plays that really stood out, just individual moments. And boy, Matt, with some of the players that we just talked about, there's great talent in the county this year. Something tells me to just pick one play of the week, well, at least one for each of us, that could be challenging every weweek.
I was just thinking that. Hey, you should take a look at Week 1 schedule here. Columbia hosting Independence. You never know what could happen in a game like that. North Ridge and North Ridgeville, and North Royalton. Those two played to a close game last year. You mentioned Avon Lake, Elyria. That was a 1-point game last year. Right. So you're already talking about big plays going to decide those games, and who knows? It could be that Orthopedic Associates play of the game next week.
Yep. So, again, thank you to Orthopedic Associates for sponsoring that during our weekly videos. Again, that'll start next week when we have plays to talk about. But, Bruce, we're excited. Week 1. Let's get it going.
Okay. Take care, guys. And, again, thanks to our friends at LCCC for sponsoring this awesome little thing that we do.
Yeah, again, LCC, they've done this for several years now, so a huge thank you to them. Matt Douglas, thanks to you. Thanks to Bruce Bishop behind the camera. Biggest thanks goes to you for watching. We'll talk to you again next week.